My wife recently figured out my friend's wife was having an affair with me. 5 years ago, right after my divorce, I met this woman at a concert. She was a bit younger than me, but we hit it off, and she wound up going to a bar with me and my friends after that show ended. It was a fun night, and we exchanged numbers. At that time, I wasn't really using any social media except FB, and that was just to keep up with my kids' school and activities. So we never friended, just text each other. At first the texts were casual, a little flirty every once in a while, but nothing to suggest there was any interest in anything sexual. Turns out she only lived 20 minutes from me, but we never met up or saw each other. After a couple weeks of texting, we figured out we were both going to be at the same concert again, but this time in another city. It was a guy weekend for me and a girl weekend for her. So, her and her friends met me and my friends before the concert. We did a little bar hopping together. Her and her friends were younger than me and my friends, and I was the only single one amongst my friends. We, my friends and I, noticed none of these girls were wearing wedding rings, so we assumed they were all not married. They were all younger than us, and there didn't seem to be much interest outside of being friends. That was fine. At the time, I wasn't interested in a relationship anyway. After going to a couple bars, we went to the concert. Her and her friends had floor tickets and me and my friends had seats. I thought that was the end of it for that night. After the concert, me and my friends went to a bar and then to our hotels. Right after I got to my room, this woman texted me and asked if I wanted to come have some more drinks with her. She was at a place close to my hotel, so sure, I agreed. I went back out expecting to see her and her friends, but it was just her. I don't even think I finished my drink by the time we were heading back to my hotel. It was awesome. When we got back home, she started coming over to my house during the day. I have a flexible job, and most days work from my house. She travels around the area for her job, so she had time to come over during the day. She'd come over after my kids went to school and left before they got home. Some days she was at my house almost the whole time my kids were at school. Even if it wasn't my time with the kids, she was there during the same time. Never at night, and never during the weekends. It was just a FWB type relationship. That was perfect for me. I was involved with my kids, even coaching 2 of their teams, so it never interfered with my time with them or my friends. Also, I wasn't looking for a relationship and definitely didn't want a relationship with someone that young that may want kids. I'm done having kids. I was upfront with her about how I felt, and she was fine with it. She said she wasn't looking for a relationship either. This went on for almost a year. Eventually I met someone, my now wife, and broke it off with her. She was fine with that too. We never text each other again. A year after I met my wife, we got married. 2 years ago, I met this woman again at a neighborhood gathering. Me and my wife were introduced to her and her husband by a friend of mine. They had recently bought the house right next to his. When we first saw each other, it wasn't awkward or anything. We just smiled and said hi. I told my wife about our past when we got home that night. My wife is very understanding. We both accept that we both have had past relationships. No big deal. Her husband turns out to be a pretty cool guy. He starts hanging out with my group of guys' friends, and we become friends too. This year, he joined one of my fantasy football leagues, so he friends me on FB. After I friend him, he friends my wife. My wife takes a look at his profile and asks how long ago I was FWB with his wife. It was 5 years ago. She shows me a recent post that says he and his wife have been married 8 years. Story 2. I already forgave her cheating, but now I saw details and can't cope with the way she had sex. I am really freaking out right now and hope you guys can help me. My girlfriend of 25 years has cheated and I already forgave her. Now I learned that the sex was much worse than I expected, and I don't know how to handle this. It happened about 2 months ago. My girlfriend was at a party at the shared apartment of some of her friends. Nothing special. I wasn't in town as I had to work in a different city. The next day, she called me crying and told me that she had cheated. I was shocked. When I came back the day after that, we had a long talk. She didn't tell me much details, and I didn't ask for it. She said that she had had a few drinks and just went with the flow and then had sex there. I actually didn't ask with whom. As she seemed to be really sorry, I tried to get over it. It took me some time, but I actually managed to really forgive her, and I thought our relationship was on a good track again. Her cheating wasn't a topic at all anymore. I admit that I was wondering about details from time to time, but I didn't want to talk about it and thought that it doesn't matter. However, I was very, very wrong. Yesterday, I talked to a guy who was there as well, and he seemed to be very surprised that I had been able to forgive her. I tried to explain to him that I appreciated her honesty and that she never tried to hide it at all. I wasn't able to understand his confusion until I was finally brave enough to ask about details. I almost blacked out when he told me. To cut a long story short, it wasn't just normal sex with one guy. She apparently slept with at least 3 of them and did things she'd never do with me. I still have no words for it. Actually, I thought he was making this up, but he had proof, and I can't get this off my mind now. I don't know how to ever cope with this. I know that I didn't ask for details, but it still feels like she lied to me, even though she technically maybe didn't. I hate that I went through a lot of mental trouble to keep this relationship alive, and now I have to learn this. I am completely freaking out right now. Story 3. Fiance cheated on me in a gym. It's been nearly a year since it happened, and I still haven't processed it properly. I thought I had met my dream girl. She honestly came across as the sweetest and most innocent person, but she was living a double life right under my nose. We had been engaged for a few months and were very excited about starting our life together. We were quite young, in our 20s. I was working my butt off in 2 jobs to get us set up financially. She had a job, but it was a small salary, and she was still studying on the side. I was extremely committed and wanted to give us a good life. We were trying to live a healthier lifestyle together by eating better and exercising regularly. The topic of getting a gym membership then came up. We discussed each getting a membership so we could go to the gym together. Anyway, then one day she told me out of the blue that she had signed herself up at a different gym instead of the original one we planned on going to. I didn't think much of it and didn't mind. I thought it was a bit weird, but I was happy to gym alone at the original one. Her new gym was too far away from where I lived. We weren't living together. So a little while goes by, about a week. She's gone to the gym a few times. I've been nice, asked if she's enjoying it, etc. All seems okay, but she starts acting a bit weird. She is being distant and snappy, and I don't know why. A few days pass, and it just gets worse. She starts becoming extremely aggressive towards me for no reason, and wouldn't open up. This started to give me a very suspicious feeling, and I wanted to figure out what was going on. So I did some digging and remembered that she logged in onto her Instagram a while ago on my computer. I checked and thankfully still had access to her account, but what I found was horrifying. I found a long chat between her and a guy who worked at the gym. The chat spanned over a week or so and started fairly casual, like thanks for helping me sign up, etc. But then it got very sexual very quickly. I had to read about the things they wanted to do to each other and then the things they did do to each other. And guess where they hooked up? In the gym's office. I was disgusted, shocked, and literally sick to my stomach. I phoned her immediately and told her what I found and that it was over. She first denied it, but when she realized I saw the chat, she just hung up on me. Also, I don't mean this in a nasty way, but the guy she hooked up with was really not a typically attractive guy. I'm a good-looking guy, tall, green eyes, dark hair, and toned. She went for a slob over me, and I can't understand why.